It's Monday, I guess, back from the Derby just in time for schedule release week in the NFL, a.k.a. the team social media squad Hunger Games. The NBA is wild right now. Kenny Smith of TNT Action joins us to break down Joker versus Ishbia and get us set for all of tonight's action as well. I might go to a game. I'm very excited. And DV, Darius Butler here to talk Lamar Jackson 6,000. Okay. And Verstappen winning. Verstappen winning the F1 Miami Grand Prix. Yeah, who could have saw that coming? Is very polarizing. He is very like, do we like him? Do we not like him? Are we booing him? Are we excited to see him? Man, but he got, see, I got 2 thumbs down over there. 2 thumbs down for Verstappen. The kid's 25. I feel like we should be a little nicer. Is it a team sport? That's the question I don't have an answer to. There's teams, but it's still individual. Yeah. So he's boxing guys out and throwing bows, figuratively. Is that a bad thing? Little Joker Ishbia action. We got a lot to get to. We are a well-rounded sports show at this point in the game here in mid-May. And what a weekend it was at the 149th Kentucky Derby. Thank you so much to FanDuel for sending us and let us be the goof troop running around there. But congrats to Mage and to jockey Javier Castellano. He won his first Kentucky Derby in his 16th try. It was so fun. Marissa was there. Our team had it covered here in LA and over there in Kentucky. And I just thought, I know we had a good time on Sunday.
We had a great time.
We caught up, we saw each other.
Yeah.
We were goofy. And then I don't really know what the rest of your weekend was. So I want to hear a couple of Marissa's highlights.
Oh, man. Okay, one of my favorite points was our Friday show. We had to split up because we were canvassing the entire grounds. I got the Bobby Flay duty. And in that duty, I had to literally muddle this blackberry mixture together for him.
You wanted blackberry juice. You didn't have blackberry juice, so you decided I'm going to take like a plastic spork and make it for him, right?
I did what I had to do. We got groceries in Walmart, me in Hamilton. We were doing it. I was muddling these blackberries in 90-degree heat. Had to take off my pink suit jacket.
I thought you were doing it like barefoot, like you're a Napa vibe style.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And he walks over.
Is he scary?
He's a little scary.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like I was on Top Chef. Like I was worried he was going to, be like, you're not doing that right. Why'd you get a plastic fork? What are you doing with these mixtures? But he just peered over and was like, let me help you, kid. And I was like, no, you don't have to.
Do we have a picture of any of this?
I think we do, unfortunately.
I would love to see. They're telling me there's a picture. Oh, I guess we don't have one?
Well, it's me and Bobby Flay, and I'm going like this. And Bobby is taking over the duty as he should, because me as his sous chef was not my shining moment.
He was awesome. Okay, what else? That was a good segment though, and he makes a mean blackberry mint julep.
So good, so good. And then Saturday night, we did all the social media on the red carpet, and then once the Derby was over, we went to Jack Harlow's party.
Yeah, you met up with me, which is never a good idea.
I know, we were having a little fun.
A little blurry, and then I left you and I said, my work here is done. Go with the Lord.
And I wanted you to come to this party, but we went to this party, and it was so much fun. Jack Harlow performed. That's me and my boo, all the way in the back. Look at us just hanging,
it's
just
like
being
a picture
besties.
with Bigfoot or something. Who took this photo?
Rob Lopez, of course. Yeah, he was my photog for the day. I was so happy. It was just me and Jack just hanging, just catching up, being old friends.
Okay, let's think about who we saw. So we saw on the red carpet, and then you saw Mark Ingram and Cam Jordan. I did not see them.
Yeah.
Didn't get to meet up with them. Who else did we see we saw Peyton Manning.
Yep, we saw
That was
Peyton.
super fun.
Here, look at this fit check from Mark. Look at this, like, light pink with the lace
Mark's
and the
got to
hat.
get back on the show.
I know, we need him. He was so happy to see us on the red carpet, though. He was missing us.
Yeah.
He wants to come back on.
I still think Rapoli is my favorite person that I met that whole weekend.
Oh my God, I mean, his attitude, he was so charismatic. I wanted him to win so badly.
Do we go to the Preakness and the Belmont? Are we doing
I think we
this
have
thing?
to.
Do we wait? What's the next one? The Preakness or the Belmont? I don't even know. Which one's the next one? The Preakness is next.
Yeah.
If Mage somehow wins the Preakness, do we then have to go to the Belmont to see if the Triple Crown happens?
Yeah.
Or do we just hit all of them and say we are now...
I say we hit all of them.
We are now horse racing people. Because I can't keep up. Because I'm an old ninny who's like, I at some point can't handle this. But my big takeaway was when on Saturday, which seems like it was Sunday, when I started feeling a little, man, like I'm done with this. Like I've been here a long time. I've been eating, eating all
Chicken
the food,
fingers.
drinking all the drink, having the best time ever. I thought about Patrick Mahomes. What an inspiration he is, because I ran into him on Friday night, and I said, wow, you guys are crushing it. Listen, the night before this, that's a picture on the left of him and his beautiful wife, Brittany Lynn, and they were at the Barnstable Barnes party. God knows where they went after that on Friday night, and where they told me, we're going to the Grand Prix tomorrow. And I said, you know what? So they were really motivating to me.
Yeah.
When I was losing my, my
steam,
the next wind or whatever.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I was like, Patrick Mahomes is somewhere taking this in.
If Mahomes
we were
can do
watching
it, you
him
can
sit
do it.
there at the Derby.
Yeah.
He had duties at the Derby. He had to speak on the microphone in front of 16 million viewers at home.
Yeah.
He did that, and then he went to the Grand Prix in that outfit and had the time of his life. So he was on some Travis Kelce-ish.
I was so impressed. And also Taylor Rooks. Let's talk about her. Like she was so good at the entire Derby. She was doing all the social coverage.
Yeah.
Went to Jack Harlow's party and then was posting about like International Racing Day the next day.
It's all we love it all. So it was a spectacular sports week, and noticeably missing was Travis Kelce.
I know. Where was he at?
I don't know, but if there were odds on who would be at both places, and causing a ruckus, it would have been Travis Kelce. Okay, so you had fun, we had fun, our show did great, and congrats to Mage and everyone over at CD for the warm welcome to our show in its first horse racing appearance. Now let's get into some NFL. We appreciate you, Marissa. Thank you very much, and I very much appreciate your John shirt, because your boys won yesterday. Harden's out of his mind. Okay, let's talk a little. We're going to get to the NBA with Kenny Smith, because that Joker thing that happened. Like, is he facing a suspension? Likely. Could be. All right, we'll ask him what he thinks. But let's get to the NFL. We have the schedule released. That is on Friday. We'll be covering it on our show. The draft and free agency are over, so we got to finalize that schedule. And it actually happens Thursday night, guys. So we'll have the breakdown for you at the end of this week. And so there's teams that have done everything that they can do to fill their needs this offseason, but there's still some questions that we don't have answers to. So I thought we could maybe kick things off today by digging into some division by division. And we're going to start with the NFC East. So first up, let's just start with those Cowboys. We had a Cowboy wearing a Philly jersey at the game. I thought that was super weird, but that was happening. Was that a dream that I had, or did that actually happen? All right, well, here, they were really aggressive this offseason, Micah Parsons included. They made big trades. They get Brandon Cooks, they get Stephon Gilmore to give them a serious boost at some skill positions, making the offensive coordinator change. Bye-bye Kellen Moore, the left-hander, too, shoddy. They said bye to Zeke Elliott. I feel like this wasn't a big enough story, right? Jerry hinted that they might still bring him back, so maybe that's why it's not such a big story. But even with the big swings the boys made, the question is this. Is Mike McCarthy the guy to bring America's team back to contender status? I'm not even going to say to contender status. We've given McCarthy his credit, right? Last year, he became the first Cowboys head coach to make back-to-back playoff appearances since Chan Gailey back in 1998, 1999. But as we know, the standard in Dallas is different. And as we know, there's a bug on my desk. Goodbye, sorry, have a good day. We know that the window is shrinking. Time is of the essence when it comes to Jerry Jones and company. This team is closing in on year 30 without a trip to even the conference championship game. We know the talent. The Cowboys, the Bills, the only two teams in the NFL to rank in the top 5 in scoring offense and scoring defense. But there's something that is not clicking with the team in this playoff and big game situations that they find themselves in. So Jerry Jones opted to keep McCarthy over reeling in the big fish and Sean Payton, okay, and paying him a ton of money to see what they could do. And it could be the move that ends up defining this era of Cowboys football. And I don't know why it didn't happen. I don't know how realistic it really was. And, maybe, sure, the offensive coordinator change and some of the talent upgrades are going to jumpstart things a little bit. But I don't think I'm crazy in saying that it's now or never for Dallas, right? At least under Jerry Jones' stewardship. And with the Eagles sitting in their division and the third toughest schedule in the league at their hand, which will be released on Thursday night, it is not going to be an easy path. So that's my question. Were you right in keeping McCarthy? Is he the guy to take you there? Next up, let's head over to the Commanders and take a look at Washington. So here's my question for this team. Did the Commanders pull a heist by snagging quarterback Sam Howell in the 5th round last season? Man, does Twitter love themselves Sam Howell. Wow, I want to interview him. I have to understand what he's all about because I was shocked. They're obsessed with Sam Howell. And I think it's clear Ron Rivera and company seem to think he is the guy. They get rid of Wentz. They leave Taylor Heineke, who I thought was the crowd and team favorite. They let him go, and then they have every opportunity to try to grab someone else, whether it was Derek Carr. They could have been involved in making an offer to Lamar. They weren't. They could have traded up for a quarterback in the draft. Or, you're seeing Will Levis slide, and he fell into their lap at 16, and they said no. They decide to pass on every one of those options, and instead they bring in Jacoby Brissett, a veteran, sure, Super Bowl champion caliber guy who knows what it's about, to back him up. So this Ron Rivera regime is entering year 4. They're still looking for a winning season. New ownership is here. There's not much time to get this thing turned around. So for this franchise to put all of their chips in behind Sam Howell is a huge statement, and I don't think enough people are discussing that. So Howell, he's an unknown at this level, but there is a lot to like. Look at week 18, okay? This is his start last year. He picked apart the Cowboys. This is great footage. This is convincing. He leads the Commanders to a convincing 26-6 win. He throws for a touchdown. He runs for another one. It wasn't the cleanest performance, so it shouldn't have been. And the arm talents, the mobility popped off the screen there, which we love. I don't know. He must have done this every practice. You must have had this kind of a showing and this kind of a game to have it looking like it's going to be Sam Howell. So that's my question for the Commanders, okay? And Sam Howell, by the way, a 5th-round pick. And we'll see. He had a great sophomore season at North Carolina, and he was supposed to be the top quarterback off the board in a bunch of drafts, but then he had this weird season. So we'll have to see what's next. All right, let's get into the next team here. Let's go to New York. Okay, let's go to New York. Daniel Jones gets his extension. Saquon gets the tag. The question for me is, have the Giants done enough around Daniel Jones to take that leap into contention in the NFC? Joe Shane enters this season masterfully, but sort of hamstrung, right? Still trying to work his way out of some bad contracts that were handed out by the previous regime, but still managed to make some things happen. So despite the Giants' $22 million in dead cap space, thanks in large part to Kenny Golladay in that deal, Shane was able to bring in a lot of talent this offseason. Look what Daniel Jones will be throwing to this year, okay? Of the top 8 weapons in this passing game right now, 4 were brought in this offseason, headlined by Darren Waller, that trade, and 3rd-round speedster Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. Another 2, Sterling Shepard, and last year's 2nd-rounder Wan'Dale Robinson spent most of last year on IR. So if you look at this, only Isaiah Hodgins, who, by the way, joined the team mid-season after he got cut by the Bills, and Darius Slayton, those are the only guys returning that did get significant reps with DJ last year. So it sort of doesn't look like there's a true number 1, right? Hamilton did say it in his breakdown, Hammer Time, that he did, that Darren Waller is so special that he could be their primary target from the tight end position. They might not need a number 1 wide receiver, but this is the makings of an awesome group of receivers on paper. The front office did the best that they could given their hamstrung situation, but we know that it looks good there. How is it going to translate yet? Because Darren Waller is a superstar, but we all know the knock is that he struggled with injuries. Can he stay on the field? Same deal with Sterling Shepard. Veteran, great guy, stay on the field. Wan'Dale Hyatt, super talented, super young players, very unproven. So that rough playoff loss to the Eagles made it really clear the Giants lacked firepower to contend with these big guys, even in a watered-down NFC. So if this group can stay healthy and play to their potential, we could see these G-men go from this cool sort of anomaly of, we thought they were rebuilding, all of a sudden they're in the playoffs, like this fun little story, into a legitimate threat in the conference. And Daniel Jones might make a lot of people feel and look really stupid for hating on his new deal. Did I make it through all of the teams? Cowboys. We didn't do the Eagles. Why not?
We don't have any questions.
We don't have any questions for the Eagles? Why?
Because we're great.
Why don't we have any questions for the Eagles? Did I just mess that up? Oh. What do you mean? They've got sons. Was Marissa in charge here? They don't have like, questions? Are we joking? I got questions for the Eagles. How did that not make the show? All right, we'll be back. Coming up, we do have Darius Butler. We're going to go inside the NBA with Kenny Smith. Are the Lakers back-to-back championship contenders? I'm going to the game tonight. At FanDuel Casino, we know nothing beats winning. That's why all-new customers get a second chance to win. Choose from hundreds of games and get up to $1,000 back if you're down after your first day. Love that. Download FanDuel Casino today. Kenny Smith and Darius Butler coming up. Back on Up and Adams, waiting for Kenny Smith to join us. He has an exciting new book that is being released tomorrow, I believe. It's called Talk of Champions, Stories of the... I don't have it. Stories of the what? Stories of the people who made me. Thanks, guys. Back there in the control room. I think they're trying to get him to log on. We're excited to talk to him about everything that happened yesterday. We've got exciting action tonight between the Lakers and the Lakers game, so hopefully I get to do that. And we also have Darius Butler on the show, who missed his parlay by 1 point, so we're going to be his cheer-up committee, because we've been there and we've done that. But we're also doing some Ask K Anythings following the Derby weekend. What do we got? Let's roll them through. Marissa, read them to me.
In all the interviews you've done, which one stuck with you the most and why?
Oh, God.
That's a deep one.
That's too many. I always think, well, I don't know. I don't have one.
What about this season?
Oh, maybe this season. You know what? I don't know why Saquon Barkley always pops into my head.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he's, everything went right for him his whole life, and then he got to the NFL and he had some adversity, and the way he's just handled it.
Yeah.
When he talks to me and he gets, up there be like, when he gets candid about it, and he talks about how it was the best thing that ever happened. Like, the best thing to ever happen to me was for me to have a setback.
Yeah.
So I could sit back and learn and see what that's like and adjust and, like, take a minute. It sort of reminds me of, like, just in, like, personal life. Like, pandemic sort of did that to me.
Yeah.
Like, a setback that put me out of the hamster wheel. I reset, I reassessed, what do I really want? And it ended up being, like, the best thing of a terrible situation.
Yeah.
Sort of, and I just like that about, I like those sort of moments. Or when you just get anything out of an athlete that you don't get normally. Like, any sort of extra insight or a different side of themselves. I think Gronk does that well on our show.
Yeah.
Because he's hard. I mean, he is like a wild stallion. And you don't know where he's going. You don't know how to steer him. But you can get, like, a really genuine moment when everybody sort of looks at him as this cartoon character. Like, those.
Yeah.
That's sort of like what we try to do on our show. All right, let's see. Is there another one? Who were the better and less well-dressed NFL player and celebrities at the Derby? Okay. Brittany Lynn Mahomes can do no wrong. They are royalty. I have loyalty to royalty, and they looked so good. And she, on Friday night, was wearing this amazing, colorful Alex Perry satin dress with an insane slit, and she's just so hot. I just love her. And Patrick looked great too. I'm like, Patrick, sure, whatever. And I never look at the dudes. Is that terrible? Like, you're showing me Mark Ingram's outfit. I'm like, all right. I always just look at the babes.
No, the girlies come to play.
Show me the babes. That's all I want to see. My outfit for Derby Day, my original outfit was going to be so cute because it was very high-end, high fashion. It wasn't sexy. It was polka dots.
Yes.
This is my fitting in my... That's what happens at my house when there's a fitting. There's clothes everywhere. But those were, like, really cute Manolo vintage.
Yes.
The skirt was Valentino. I forget what the top was, but it was so fun. And it was his feather headpiece, and it didn't make it. It's, like, literally still in Kentucky somewhere.
It's giving Cruella de Vil chic.
Yeah, but it's giving.
It's giving.
But then I didn't have anything, and you're like they say that you're only as good as your backup quarterback. You're only as good as your backup dress, and I did not.
Thank God you had one.
I did have one. I was gonna wear it the day before too, but I looked like Shiv Roy doing a PowerPoint presentation on the micro econ of Succession. Oh, we have what Friday one? What do we have? Let me see. Oh, this was hot. I like this.
Oh yeah.
This is a throw. I wore this to the Grammys a couple years ago.
I'm loving this.
I re-wore a dress. That's right. I never do that, and I did that.
Outfit repeater.
But I was gonna wear the blue one to this, and I'm glad I didn't, because
Yeah.
this would be less of a good Derby dress. This has been way too done up.
I like the updo as well.
Yeah.
The updo is looking good.
Sucked in. Oh, Kenny Smith's a great dresser, and he's a great racer to the big board.
He is.
And does he like Devin Booker? Has Devin Booker done enough for you? Kenny Smith will have him on the show to talk about his incredible new book, Talk of Champions, up next, and it's available tomorrow. Get it everywhere. Kenny, let's go. Very excited about this. Joining me now is a two-time NBA champion, co-host of the Emmy-winning Inside the NBA, and he's here with a brand new book. It is out tomorrow. You can pick it up. It is called Talk of Champions, Stories of the People Who Made Me. Kenny Smith, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm so great. Not as great as you. We have a lot to talk about. Congrats on the book. We're going to get into it, some of the stories people can expect. Pick it up tomorrow. Congratulations to you on that. But let's get into a little NBA talk here. Wild moment last night in the Suns-Nuggets game. You got Suns owner Ishbia. You got Nikola. Talk me through this play.
Well, the only thing that happens to really be talked about is that the owner grabbed the ball and he shouldn't have grabbed it. That's it.
Okay, some are saying the Joker should have been ejected. You said last night if it was any other fan but Matt Ishbia, it would not have been a technical foul. Will he be suspended for this, Kenny?
No, he's not going to be suspended. First of all, I don't even know if the Joker has the awareness to know that that's the new owner of the team.
I agree.
I honestly, I know his name and I know of him, but I would not have known that that's the owner of the team.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it was specifically targeted at him at all. But, he's trying to continue to play, thinking there's an opportunity. Some guys got the ball in his way. He's just like, get off my back. It was pretty funny to be part of that. I think it's a great moment for the owner, more than like suspend Joker for being belligerent to fans. It's a little extra. He doesn't even have a history. He doesn't have a history of anything like that. You know what type of player he is, and we've known honestly what type of person he is. But get out the way, man.
I think Stan Kroenke next game should be down there and just ready to flop his life out and try to help his team. Come on, Stan.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what. The Joker has some brothers, though.
Oh.
It's about the same size as the Joker.
Yeah.
And Jokic's brothers, they don't play, I don't think. So I wouldn't encourage any continuation of that by anybody in Phoenix. I'll leave it as that.
Okay, I like that. Now you picked the Nuggets to come out of the West. Are you sticking with this pick?
Well, I think they're the best basketball team from top to bottom. So typically in a 7-game series, the best team wins. It's not about, the best player. It's the best team. You got to beat someone 4 out of 7 times. Pretty much that means I'm better than you. And so, yeah, I really believe that the Nuggets are the best team in the West.
Who's the guy that needs to step up? I was on a flight back from the Kentucky Derby. I was listening to you guys talk about how it can't just be Joker, can't just be the second guy. It's got to be the third guy. Who needs to step up for this Nuggets team?
Well, I think they have, when you say third guy, I think they have the ability, their third and fourth guys have the ability to be the first or second guy on certain nights. Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter, those two guys are super talented young players. I would say Aaron Gordon has a probably an easier time to maybe step up because of his ability to handle the basketball and create space for himself. He's probably the guy who could create an opportunity for himself just as easy as anyone else. So they just have a plethora of guys that they can continually just throw at you where the Suns are like, no, it's KD and Booker. And if you're going to beat us, these are 2 guys you got to beat.
Speaking of Booker, Shaq came out last night, Kenny, and he apologized to Devin for doubting his play. Now, I know you want to see that alpha in him. You want to see him really be that man, that dog in the playoffs. Is he getting an apology or just some love from you anytime soon?
He never needed an apology from me, Devin Booker. I never even think he could do it. I think the apology was he couldn't go 20 for 25 again, which is an incredible percentage. And then he came back and backed it up and shot a better percentage the next night and took just as many shots. Ooh. That's what the apology is for. I mean, Devin Booker is one of the unique talents in our game where he could, score in multiple ways. He can catch and shoot, which is the ball comes to you, just catch it and shoot it. Then he could take you off the dribble. The third thing he could do is he can go from baseline to baseline with the basketball. Most guys cannot do all 3, especially at the 2-guard position. They usually do 2 out of the 3 and sometimes even only 1. And this guy is a guy who does all 3 in a scoring load.
He's crazy with his threes. He's averaging 36.8 points a game in the playoffs. Who's playing better ball than Devin Booker right now?
The only guy is Jimmy Butler. Is probably playing just as well. Carrying it, playing super well for the Miami Heat, being unstoppable in key moments. I look at I don't usually look at the stat sheet. I look at the moments. When our team needs a basket, who are we going to give it to? That's what, and who's going to stop the other team when they're doing well? Who's going to get a basket to make sure the other team doesn't just run away with this game? And Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler have been those 2 guys throughout the playoffs at an unbelievable rate.
Now, I want to talk about Chris Paul because Chris Paul gives everybody their shot, but the Suns win 2 in a row. They even up the series. Their pace of play is very fast. Does Chris Paul make them better or less good given the pace of play?
Well, I think Chris Paul is going to just realize that, okay, let's play faster. He's that good. Like, Chris Paul is not a guy who says he's not a guy who says I can't do what they're doing. So a lot of guys would come back and you'd have to change your whole dynamic. But with Chris Paul, he's good enough to go, all right, this is the way we need to play. I'll do it. And I think before it was more of, let me make sure that I get the guys the ball. Now I think he can see I don't even have to do that as much. So Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer. He's probably one of the top 10 point guards or top 5 in the history of basketball. He's going to figure out how to join that. He's probably happy to play faster. He's going to be happy.
Good. Now, some might say you put the heat in Miami after this weekend, Kenny. I'm not going to do you like your castmates on Inside the NBA, but let's talk about this Heat-Knicks matchup because you picked the Heat to win before the series started. Your boy Stephen A. Smith put you on blast, saying you are betraying the city of New York as a Queens boy here. Huge Game 4 tonight in said Miami. Are you going to switch your pick? How do you feel about this? Want to make some New Yorkers happy right now?
First of all, I just caught what you just said. But it's like it took a second, but I just caught it. But literally. But for me, when I picked the Knicks in the first round, I'm not picking on emotion.
Yeah.
When I said they're going to get to the second round. And then to go into the next round, I'm not picking on emotion. If I picked on emotion, I would pick North Carolina, the Houston Rockets, and the New York Knicks every series that they played in the history of basketball. So no, I just can't. I just thought that, if I looked at the team and I had to pull out the emotion, I said, man, the Miami Heat has a better team. They have, a go-to guy who's playing at a higher rate. And then between Bam Adebayo and Julius Randle, at times could be a standoff. But I didn't think there's anyone who's playing as well as Jimmy Butler could do what he was doing. So I have to double down. On those Heat.
Listen, after this weekend, I mean, the smile, you're glowing.
No, this is good sunshine. There's sunshine everywhere, sweetheart. There's sunshine everywhere.
Listen,
I got to double down. But you think about what the Miami Heat has done in the last 3 weeks. They've been the best team in basketball. Forget this, just like the East. They've been the best team in basketball the last 45 days. And they just got hot. They're getting hot at the right time. Kind of like they did when they got in the bubble. They got hot in the right time, and they went to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, now I'm headed to my very first Lakers game tonight, Kenny. I've never been, okay? And I've been watching this, and I watched Game 3. I don't know how you can even explain how the Lakers dominated the Warriors. What do the Warriors need to do to make it different on the road tonight?
Well, I'll give you some nice places to go in L.A. I'm an L.A. guy,
okay.
So I'll give you some nice places there. I
don't want Ernie calling TMZ, and I don't want
I'll get you good. But what you expect tonight is all going to be predicated on 2 letters, A, B.
I know.
That's it. That's it. The whole series is predicated on 2 letters. The thing that amazes me about him, it's kind of like if you went to see an Usher concert.
Okay.
Usher is, and one night he's hitting every note. And you go the very next night, and the guy doesn't hit any of the notes. You're like, wait a minute. I just saw him last night. He was incredible. He's dancing, and tonight he's skating on the thing, and he's falling, and he's like you would be like, what's going on? Like, it's an amazing, how he can go from being arguably the best player in basketball to just a good little guy. Not saying he's terrible, but just a good little guy. And that typically doesn't happen, especially in the same series when you have the same advantage. So if I have the advantage on Monday, on Wednesday, the advantage really doesn't change. Then on Friday, I still have the same advantage. That's the difference about playing in series, because you keep the advantage overall. And sometimes you could get fooled because a guy could have a great series against one team and you go, he's really this. And like, no, he's not really that. He's this that against them.
Okay, listen, I work in the NFL, so I'm new to the NBA. I'm really into it this playoff, so that's actually very helpful. I'll be watching out for AD, just 2 letters in that whole series tonight.
Hold up, that's it.
I want to ask you about Inside the NBA. It's the best show. I was part of a studio show for 6 years, and it's hard work. You guys are incredible. You've won 17 Emmys together on this ensemble cast. And I saw that Ernie, this isn't new information, but he said, last week he reaffirmed that production meetings do not happen. You want to keep it genuine. You want to keep it raw. If you were to teach a master class on what creates a great studio ensemble show, what is the thing that you'd focus on the most?
Well, first of all, there are production meetings, but they're for the producers.
So, you hear that around here?
For the producers, because it started, Ernie. It started the first year I got there, and they asked me to come to a production meeting, and so I was like, "What am I coming? What am I coming for?" And they were like, "Oh, we just, you could give us the keys to the game.
That's what you do.
You give us, and all the things. What's going to happen?" I was like, "Well, I don't know the keys to the game." He's like, "What do you mean you don't know the keys to the game?" I don't know the keys to the game until I start watching it. And I'm going to go, that's the key to the game right there. And then Tim Kiley, who was our producer, goes, all right, don't come. And from then on, none of us have ever come as talent to the production meeting, only except for Ernie. Because, our job is to analyze what's going on. We don't really have, myself, Charles, or Shaq, we're not breaking news about trades. We're not doing innuendos and insights of what's going on. We're not following people on beaches. Like we're not doing any of that. We're breaking down the game, and we're going to tell you why you lost.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to watch the game at an intense rate. And so from there, that's the first formula. Producers produce, talent, be talent, And then the third part of it is, you just got to be blessed to get a mix together sometime. Like, you sometimes you just blessed. And like, you just walk in and like, oh, this is the guy that I'm supposed to be sitting next to. And, his opinions, Charles has no idea what I'm going to say before the show. I have no idea what this dude is thinking right now. I have no clue.
Okay, but Kenny.
So you have to listen.
Kenny, but you know when those TMZ photos come out, they're going to bring it up. Well,
it wasn't me. No, I'm just fine. But you have to listen to your comrade.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to give you that last piece.
Okay.
Is listening. We don't have you get to speak for 15, you get to 15, you get 15, and we go off the air. If Charles is saying, tonight, Anthony Davis is going to be, and I'm going to stop him in the middle. No, he's not. He's not going to do that. I'm not going to allow, just like I was in a regular conversation with my friends at home, we're going to talk the same exact way. And that's the most important part, I think, of all of it, is that I watch shows and someone has some notes.
Yeah.
And they're waiting to get their point across.
100%.
Regardless if the guy says, by the way, in your ear, the studio's on fire, let's leave. And they go, no, I still got to say that Anthony Davis haven't even listened to anything that's going on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of producers and people in corner offices that do not like what you're saying, but it's worked and it's proven it is the best studio show ever. I love it. But let's get into the book here. You were sharing some personal stories in it. I want you to give it the best plug that you can. I think we've got the cover art for it. Don't we, guys? Let's take a look. It's a new book. It's called Talk of Champions, Stories of the People Who Made Me. Tell us what we can expect.
Well, for me, when I wrote it, first of all, it is a tell-all book. It's a tell-all, but it's a tell-all about all the great things I learned from great people. And I wish I had known this at 20. So I wrote it. Initially, I was writing it to my kids so they could have this information. And then I was like, no, the world, this is like to the world. Because each chapter is not a chapter. It's named after a person. So it's not chapter 1, chapter 2. It's Bill Russell. It's Michael Jordan. It's Shaquille O'Neal. It's Kobe Bryant. It's just what I learned from being around greatness and what they think, how they compute information. So when you read it, I feel, when you read it, you're gonna feel better about yourself. And you're gonna go, man, that's when I did that. That's when it worked. Wow. Now I understand why it works. And so that's what I always felt. Everyone's always searching with these self-help books. But these are the people who made it. I've been around. My phone book is pretty good. You know what I mean? I got a nice phone book. And it's some great people that influenced me from day one, you know, that became billionaires, not just in basketball, through other sports and through other courses of life, that became super successful in terms of not even from a financial point of view, but from a thought point of view. For some reason, I was blessed to be around them and at certain points in their life. And their nuggets are so insightful. It's like a master class of champions.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is. The point of you being around them was to tell these stories. I mean, I can't wait to read the entire book, but there's, the first time you were on a bus with the late, great Bill Russell, like you're saying, you talk about what that story was. You have personal stories from your career with Kobe, MJ, Magic Johnson, Dean Smith. It goes on and on. Shaq, of course, you and Shaq, he kidnapped your son before you even knew him, I hear. Is that true?
Yeah, the first time he met me, he took my son, and I didn't even know it, which is the weirdest thing ever. But Shaq, but now you know that's Shaq.
Yeah.
But Shaq, he's like, oh, he wanted to come with me. I'm like, but Shaq, I don't really know you. You just took his daughter and my son went to the same school at the time.
Got it.
And so he's like, oh, you want to come with me? Sure. But I also not to be miss even like great historical basketball figures, but even like I have friends like David Kohler, who runs the Kohler the Kohler company, the plumbing company, a super successful individual and family. He was my college roommate for a summer. Guy Osiri, who runs huge tech firms and huge in terms of music and managed Madonna and Sting. The guy slept on my couch for 45 days. Like, how does that even happen in your life? But one of the biggest guys in music, one of the biggest guys in plumbing, they both slept on your couch. You know what I mean? And things like that. Those are part of my life lessons with these guys as well. And just a great therapeutic for me. But I really believe, like I said, when you read this book, you're going to feel better about yourself.
I love that. And then, of course, there's, you depict Shaq, who you're on Inside the NBA with the first couple of days there with him. I heard he had a hookah lounge. I heard he had a DJ. That's all in the book, and it's all very awesome. So we're going to leave you with this game quickly. As fast as we can go, we're going to go inside the NBA. Some questions. You got to tell me which co-host best would answer the questions. Let's take a look. Which co-host most likely to get injured in the race to the board?
Chuck.
Which co-host has made you laugh the hardest?
Shaq. He's more slapstick.
Which co-host watches the least amount of the games you're covering?
Shaq.
Which co-host is the most sensitive to being made fun of?
Let's quantify it. Only because Shaq has 18,000 businesses and he gets 1 million calls about everything.
I bet.
So that's why he can't even stay focused on it.
Which co-host was most likely to call TMZ on you this weekend in Miami?
Ernie.
Ernie! Woo! Which co-host is most likely to miss work because there's a zebra on the old freeway, Kenny?
That would be I. Kenny Smith. That would be me. That's a true story.
No, it's not. Shut up. No, it's not.
I'm telling
Kenny,
you.
shut up. No, it's not.
Look it up.
Kenny, no.
Look it up.
You played for Houston the year before who? Before who got there? I forget. Before Charles got there. Then you went to Orlando right after Shaq left. Which co-host would you rather have played with?
Shaq.
Ooh! We just had Bobby Flay on at the Kentucky Derby on the show. Which co-host would have the best chance to beat Bobby Flay? Who's got chef skills?
Ooh. I would. I don't. None of it. I know Shaq can't cook for sure.
He
Chuck,
can eat.
It may be Chuck, only because he would follow. He has OCD, so he would follow the recipe to the perfection in making something.
That's good to know.
So, but he is. Yeah, I would go Chuck.
Which co-host does the crew love the most?
The what?
The TV crew.
Oh, that's me.
We all know Shaq gives the best gifts. Who gives the worst?
No, Shaq doesn't give the best gifts.
Who does?
Shaq gives the worst gifts. because he only gives free stuff that he's a part of. He's the worst kid, and it's always predictable. We're gonna get like a bag of ice cream. Like, who wants that? Like, no one wants it. Look, do you want a bag of ice cream? I'm gonna send you every gift that Shaq gives me. I'm sending it up to the studios to you, and you're gonna be like, this is terrible.
He's giving you insurance from the general. You're like, I don't need this.
Right. I don't need insurance. I already have insurance on my car. Like, 100%. Chuck gives the best gifts. Myself and Chuck give the best gifts.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Chuck is probably one of eight.
Well, Ernie's got to step it up. Hey, we appreciate you, Kenny Smith. This was a lot of fun. Congrats on the book, Talk of Champions: Stories of the People Who Made Me. It's available in bookstores and for digital download everywhere starting tomorrow. Come back, please.
Oh, I'd love to. Then I'm sending you all of Shaq's gifts.
Yeah, well, I'll take it. I need insurance and whatever he's got. Great, love it.
Icy hot.
I need that icy hot. Thank you. Good luck. And I will enjoy tonight, and I will think of you, and I will have to watch Inside the NBA after the game. We'll be back after this with Darius Butler. It says huge F1 guy in his Twitter bio, Darius Butler. Welcome. How was Miami? Tell me everything I need to know.
Miami was incredible. Second time there, back-to-back years. It was awesome. They did a great job with Hard Rock Stadium. The race went kind of as expected up front with the Red Bulls. Was a lot of action behind the race, a lot of action off the track, a lot of celebrities. It was awesome. I'm mad I missed my boost. I had a super boost, F1 NBA super boost. 1 point, Jason Tatum, but congratulations are in order for you. 15th time's a charm. Shout out to UK for finally getting that boost going. Hopefully,
Let's get the champagne.
I can get right soon.
No, we're never doing champagne ever again on the show. Listen, you mentioned the off-the-field stuff. 1 point sucks. Listen, I've been there and done that, but I'm going to do a parlay for the NBA this week. Tell me about the off-the-field experience, because you were just casually hanging with the denimed one, Jay Leno.
So that was Thursday. Wall Street Journal had an event, and talking about a lot of stuff around the sport of F1. Jay Leno was hosting it. Got a chance to talk to him off stage, but he was awesome. I didn't know he was in his 70s. Still a lot of energy. Still doing a great job at what he does. Met some other people there as well. Will Buxton, one of the main voices of Formula One. A lot of great people from Liberty Media. It was just an overall great event, great networking, and I love this actual sport, so it was a lot of fun down there in Miami.
Everyone says they love the vibe. The vibe. What is the vibe?
You know what? The vibe was cool. The vibe is cool. I would like it to be, a little more inclusive. It is a very, very expensive ticket. Miami does it big. When they go to Vegas, I'm sure they'll try to even outdo Miami. But the vibe was cool. A little bougie. I'm sure right up your alley, Kay. The Derby looked awesome. But it was also a great experience. Met some great people from different. I actually met the Andretti group, who's the Andretti, they're royalty in racing, motorsports. Yeah, so they got some big stuff going on in Indy. They're trying to get into F1. So it was an awesome time, though. The vibes were immaculate.
Okay, so while you were having a good time and I was having an immaculate vibe time at the Kentucky Derby, there was a bit of NFL news. We talked about Lamar. We talked about his MVP odds and all of that. But over the weekend, he started saying something about 6,000 yards, okay? And yes, they made some additions and all of that. Lamar, 6,000 yards, your thoughts?
No, maybe combined, maybe passing and rushing. I can definitely see that, 4,800 yard passing with 1,200 on the ground, but 6,000 is but you got to shoot for the stars, right? But you got some great weapons. You got Odell. Just saw a video of him working out in Arizona. He looks great once again. Zay Flowers, one of my favorite receivers in this draft. You got one of the best tight end rooms in the league. You got a healthy backfield, hopefully. So Lamar Jackson with a new offensive coordinator, Todd Monk, can hopefully air things out. And I can see him going around, 4,500 in a more pass-heavy offense.
Who could get 6,000? Who will be the first quarterback to get 6? It's going to happen. Who will get it? Mahomes?
I mean, it's got to be the guy who was everywhere. He was at the Kentucky Derby. He was at the Met Gala. He was at Formula One Miami. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if it's one guy who can crack that 6,000-yard mark, I think it'll be him, obviously, along with Andy Reid, what they've been able to do. Travis Kelce, he can probably be the first 2,000-yard tight end. So I think Patrick Mahomes down there in Kansas City will be the quarterback to pass over 6,000 if it's anybody.
Amazing. We got the show's over. We hit the F1, we hit Kentucky Derby, we hit NFL, NBA. You just heard Kenny Smith. What your thoughts on the Ishbia Joker thing? Because you said, I forgot what your take was. You said that Ishbia deserved it.
Yeah, you deserve it. You jump in there, you get in there. The flop, I like the flop, but I think he came out and said, look, I don't think Joker or anyone should be suspended or fined going forward. So you got to respect that from the owner, who's also a former walk-on point guard at Michigan State. So
yeah, let's do a flop. Show me your flop. Show me your Ishbia. See ya. We'll see you tomorrow.